and actually, it might be better to just stay where you are, to be honest, if you're further down towards the back, if you have your teammates up there. So far in this session, none of the teams really have all of their drivers right up there. It's going to be a very interesting race. The Apex Racing team, the only team to have 3 in the top half, but Mouse have got all 4 in the top 8. Pick the bones out of that one. We'll wait and see how they end up after 9 laps here at Monza. It's race 7 of the afternoon and race 3 here for Group B. Mouse and Apex Racing team especially hoping for a place in the Team Championship final tomorrow. Up towards the line they go. Max Benneker on pole for the 2nd race in a row. Now looking for another race win as we get the green flag at Monza. And we are racing again already. The Apex Racing team looking for places as going to the right-hand side and left-hand side go Jamie Fluke and Jimmy Antunes. They can't find any space, though. Whoa. On the way towards the Retofilio. Down the inside goes Jimmy Antunes. It's free wide for 3rd. Oh, there's contact with his teammate. And spinning around goes Moritz Lerner in front of his own teammates and other Apex Racing team cars as well. Max Benneker has a 2-second lead in 2 corners.
And it's a 1-2 for Mouse as well. Robbie Stableford's come out of nowhere to grab the, to move up to 3rd position. We were looking back through the history books. Robbie Stableford had a podium before. It was in the first ever race that he did in ESL R1. He could be on for another. I think Oliveira might sneak his way through to grab this one. What a crazy start of the race. It was just carnage at T1. And Max Benneker has taken absolute advantage in all that. The Apex Racing team, though, look at them. 5th, 7th, 10th and 12th. Their chances of going through to tomorrow's action could be over with that.
And if Yuri Kazdorp can hold on for 2nd place, Mouse could be all but confirmed as the transfer spot winners here from Group B. What an unbelievable start. We'll get a replay a little bit later on where things have calmed down slightly, but this race is going to be absolutely on here. The battle for 2nd place is going to be just as interesting as any battle for the race win we've seen so far today.
Can I just say, by the way, you obviously wouldn't have seen it at home. The speed Ewan O'Leary jumped out of his seat at all that action down at T1 was absolutely incredible. I think it was the fastest thing I've seen all day.
Quicker reaction time than they've got.
Absolutely. Jamie Fluke obviously joining in this fight, and how much weight is on his shoulders to try and grab some decent results here. I mean, he'll be sat there thinking, look, I need 2nd place, not for me, for the team, as Oliveira is going to work together with Stableford. Is he going to let him go, or is it going to be 3 wide down at a T1?
Well, they can't both get down the inside of Kazdorp here, so they're going to have to choose, and Stableford's the one to go for it on the inside line. Oh, Kazdorp's going to get just about enough room on the inside there. Here goes Stableford on the exit, and Kaiki Oliveira is going to help him all the way. Here they go through Curva Grande. They're on the inside line together. Can they get through together here on the way towards the 2nd chicane? It's a long, long way round for Yuri Kazdorp, and surely he's not going to be able to stay alongside. Here goes Jamie Fluke as well. Late on the brakes for Kazdorp, but not late enough. And not late enough either for Jamie Fluke, as Kazdorp gets the line slightly wrong through the 2nd chicane. BS Plus competition are now 2nd and 3rd.
Look, I think BS competition are almost certainly going home right after this. I don't believe that they are going to have enough points somehow to scrape their way through into the finals. But what a show they're putting on. Absolutely fantastic. They are not going out quietly as they move up to 2nd and 3rd. Ibrahim Khan as well is not too far away to maybe move himself into it, and they can orchestrate that if they play their cards right. It's not going to be easy, though, as Yuri Kazdorp hangs on to 4th spot. Jamie Fluke sat on the rear end as we stare forwards from Kaiki Oliveira and over his shoulder.
We've got this train going right the way down to 10th place, by the way. Only Christopher Dambits and Jan are out of contention here, per se, out of the slipstream range. So we have got one long line here, and a lot can still change. You say BS is definitely going home. They can pull off a surprise for sure, but they can still do it. The Apex Racing team need to come from behind in this race as well. I can't imagine how Kevin Ayres Jr. is feeling as well. Jimmy Antunes and he made contact in that first chicane.
Smart move here. They know that Kaiki Oliveira is the faster here. Robbie Stableford's done his work to get himself up into 2nd position with the assistance of Kaiki Oliveira, and now it's about holding the double podium for BS competition. Smart move there, and well done. Obviously strategic. Actually, no, I'm giving credit to Felix Van Delft. Damn. But well, obviously, well done, Felix. All right, fair enough. No, honestly, superb stuff from them as we stare at our race leader. Well, he's got a boring race in.
He's got a very boring race ahead of him, but I'm sure he will not mind as he goes on his way to a 9th victory in ESL R1 throughout 2024. That's the second most of anybody. I'm sure I don't need to ask you who is first. This is the STC replay from turn 1. I mean, is it? Well, is it actually Antunes? It might be Oliveira that taps Kevin Ellis Jr. around, and then look at that for Danbeats and Lerner. Let's have a look at this.
So there's contact there. No, you're right.
It's Oliveira.
But then it's like, is he being pushed into it by all the others?
I don't think so.
I will say that is a super messy one. I think you might be right. I think it might be a bit more on Oliveira than anything else. We'll stare right at the back, and you just get completely blocked back here. All three of the Apex Racing Team cars are on the same part of the circuit, and there's just nowhere really for them to go. Ibrahim Khan makes contact with Ferris Stanley, comes back across the node of Hearth. Yeah, and that's
quite clumsy. He did the hard work, and then span around right at the very end there. So we have a look at the key of one of the teams. Can't tell who's who from the hands. It's BS Competition, I think.
No, it's Max Benneker.
Why has he got BMW gloves?
Because he's in a BMW and Mouse are a BMW teammate.
Oh, fine.
Have you paid attention? They went off to DTM, to the DTM opener at the Lausches Ring, where they were at, and of course they had a little bit of a. Well, they've had a lot of fun. BMW are spoiling their teams. I've seen some of the activities they've been up to on social media. Fantastic stuff. If you want to see that, go and follow them all on social media, and also ask them, nag them, hope for some more team gear for me. I will take it.
Here's Ibrahim Khan and Kevin Ellis, Jamie Fluke. Ibrahim Khan trying to hang on here, or get ahead, I should say, of Jamie Fluke, who's going to get the assistance now of his teammate, Kevin Ellis Jr., if he can get to the rear. And there they go. The Apex Racing Team Mercedes will help each other now round Curva Grande, and Ellis Jr. might well try and hope he can go through too. No, he's going to leave it up to his teammate. Squeeze. He gives exactly a BMW's width on the outside, just Jamie Fluke, and here goes Kevin Ellis Jr. looking to the inside of Lesmo 1. Can he get his nose here? Not quite. He wasn't lacing up on the brakes, and here goes Ferris Stanley. Not quite.
Yeah, Scotsman on Scotsman action there as Ibrahim Khan was able to fend off Kevin Ellis Jr. But that was a little bit dicey there. Big slide coming out of Lesmo 2, coming in from Ibrahim Khan. Jamie Fluke must have just given about enough space heading into the braking zone, into the Rogia, and was able to fight his way through inside the top 5. Apex Racing Team, they'll be desperate to score as many points as possible, but I do believe that their chance of getting to the group lead, they might be going up in smoke here. Benneker and Kasdorp finishing in 1st and 4th, if they can do so, would be a very, very big move for them. They'll be outscoring the Apex Racing Team handsomely at the moment.
Yeah, that will be 42 points for them, whereas the Apex Racing Team will be scoring way less than that, that's for sure. So Mouse will be almost confirming themselves in, although not quite, with this race result here. One more to go at Spa, of course, in Group B, as we go on board with Kevin Ellis Jr. They need every single point they can possibly muster here. Apex Racing Team, as he gets closed in on here, just Kev by Ferris Stanley, that is, just behind him. And Ibrahim Khan looking at Jamie Fluke as well. The straight line speed of the BMW's really rearing its head. And same for Moritz Lerner as well, who tries to get past Jimmy Antunes with no success.
I have checked, by the way, the points, although to be fair, it has just switched around, so whatever. Just a second ago anyway, the points between Mouse and between the Apex Racing Team, if things were to finish as they were currently running, or as they're switching up now once more, would have been 40 points. And that is obviously an advantage to Mouse. So things are looking good.
Side by side up ahead for Jamie Fluke and Ibrahim Khan again. And here goes Kevin Ellis Jr. This time he's got his man. Although Jamie Fluke goes wide, he's probably helping his teammate here. And there they get into line. The Apex Racing Team working together. But what more can they do in this race? None of their cars are in the top 4. That's where they need to be. And there's a 2-second gap from themselves to Yuri Kasdorp to catch up to now.
Yeah, none of those, I don't believe any of their cars will be in the top 4, because I think that gap is just a little bit too large. Yuri Kasdorp, whilst he might not be the fastest peddler in the entirety of ESL R1, he has got more than enough speed to keep a 2-second gap over 4 laps of racing, although he has been quite ill, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Robbie Stapleford, who hangs on to 3rd position as well. If those two battle, it might slow them down, but Yuri Kasdorp, if I'm Rene Lanta, who's obviously the team manager for Mouse, I'm telling Yuri, honestly, mate, don't fight. We're scoring more than enough points compared to the Apex Racing Team right now. You fight, you can bring them back into it, and they can outscore us. Or well, not really, but you know what I mean.
And Lerner is just causing as much of a nuisance in this group as he possibly can. He was never going to get down the inside of Jimmy Antunes. Antunes there, but he was alongside briefly. He can't really overcome the lack of slipstream that he's got at the moment and the lack of friends in this group, but the fact that there are no Mouse drivers in this group is for once actually a good thing, because they're all up the road, other than Christopher Damage, of course, who's a few seconds further behind. There is the look from the front left of Moritz Lerner's BMW as he tries to catch up to Jimmy Antunes in 9th position. He's also in a situation here of not really needing to fight too much with those around him. He can just hope that Kasdorp and Beneke stay in the positions they're in, and that'll be fine for Mouse.
So it'll be 36 points at the moment between Mouse and the Apex Racing team if things finish as they stand, courtesy of a couple of moves. But obviously there's a lot longer left to go. It'll be 128 points for Mouse and 92 for the Apex Racing team. That said, I haven't checked any of the penalties. We only have one penalty, and that is the first penalty for Mouse in this. It'll be a 1-second post-race time penalty for Moritz Lerner, which also gains them 2 penalty points. So it will be ever so slightly closer than that. So take the 36 points, take 2 points off it. So it'll be 34 points between the top 2.
Well done to those of you who got that at home, who can -2.
Thank you.
Of Ascari.
I'm smart.
Out of Ascari. You're not at home. Out of Ascari into.
I just got the most disappointed look from your biggest fan. My goodness.
Can't think who that might be. Robbie Stapleford trying to stay ahead of Yuri Kasdorp then. In towards the final corner. Stapleford's got that wrong, and so he's surely going to be gobbled up on the exit now. I would agree, actually, that Kasdorp doesn't need to make a move at all here. However, he's got the opportunity and doesn't, so that's the most obvious indication to us that he is doing as you recommended, staying behind and just making sure the front 4 stay clear.
Yeah, let's see if he makes a move down into T1. He might have a look here, but to be honest, I just don't. Yeah, I think he's just sat behind. He might go for a move on the final lap when he knows where the gaps are, but at the moment it's about not risking getting penalty points. His teammate is in the best position. He's obviously just stroking at home at the top of the field, and of course is looking in a very strong spot indeed. Max Beneke, very powerful in this one. Yuri Kasdorp in 4th. I just don't see him getting through onto the podium, purely because I don't think he needs to.
I think he might try on the final lap, but before then, certainly it's going to stay away. Here's Lerner and Antunes into the final corner. Very late on the brakes from Antunes, who's round the outside and through. Well, staying through, I should say. Lerner gets the exit, though. He should be on the inside for Lesmo 1. If he can just keep his nose alongside and get late enough on the brakes. Well, it was quite close, but Jimmy Antunes hangs on round the outside to 9th place. Every single point will matter here for Apex and Mouse, of course. When you lose 1 point to your championship rivals, it's not actually the gap that extends by 1, it actually extends by 2 as your rivals also gain a point.
Yeah, 1 point gain for you, 1 point lost for them. That is the big advantage. Moritz Lerner will have a look. As we were saying about Yuri Kasdorp earlier in the previous race, if you're in one of these low down positions, don't risk a silly move. Again, at the moment, you are scoring handsomely, and if you go from if you point out earlier, like 8th, 9th, 9th, 10th, like that, it's only gained you an extra point. If you make a move and make a mistake in it, you'll cost yourself. You know, for one, you'll get a penalty, which might mean that you lose the position anyway as we head down side by side with the Parabolica. But you could also get a 2-point penalty as well. Good move from Jimmy Antunes to hang on round the Parabolica. Ibrahim Khan, though, will dish out slipstream one way or the other in this group, and I think it might be the Mercedes that will hang on.
It will be. He decides where the slipstream goes, and so it's going to go to Jimmy Antunes, although it's not very strong because they've lost so much time battling that actually they've barely got any slipstream anymore. Here goes Moritz Lerner down the inside on the brakes again, into the Retifilio chicane. Oh, careful. He very nearly span around. I mean, he would only lose his place to his teammate, I suppose, but even so, they really don't want that.
Yeah, but it's still, again, when you're doing things like that, you're risking a penalty. That's the big thing. And don't get me wrong, I get it, there's 35 points between them, but it's just not ideal.
Kasdorp has got through on Stapleford.
Absolutely.
That's not... that wasn't in our plan for Mouse, but he's done it. And so up to 3rd place for Kasdorp. It's even more puzzling, actually, not least because of the tactics that you were talking about and I would go along with as well. But it's also the fact that surely if he's in front now on the penultimate lap, he's just going to get a drafted back past on the final lap. He's just gone into the gravel out of Lesmo 2 as well. Stapleford's going to be right there on this last lap.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, he'll be sat there, and I think Stapleford might be a bit more hungry to go for something because he's got nothing to lose in this. So, yeah, bit of an oddity in that one. With a couple of position switches, Morris Lerner has got past Antunes, and of course, Yuri Kazdorp getting through in the third spot, although those two are switched back around in ninth position. We'll come back to that in a mo. It was 41 points between Mouse and, of course, the Apex Racing team. Looking everywhere at the moment is Robbie Stapleford, but he's going to be getting ready for a move coming down into turn one as we begin the final lap. Max Benneker 4.4 seconds clear here, Ewan.
He is a long, long way out in front. Kaki Oliveira is quite a long way out in front of these guys too. It's been another exhibition from Max Benneker. Further behind, the battle for third ensues again. Down the straight they go. Yuri Kazdorp tries to hang on, but Stapleford gets to the inside. Ooh. Not only for the Retifilio chicane, but for the Curva Grande if he needs it. Oh, they're off. They're both off. Both through the chicane. And how's that one going to be decided in race control? Because both of them have technically broken the rules. Yuri Kazdorp has kept the place.
It's about who instigated the contact in that, whether you'll say that Robbie Stapleford was too deep on the brakes, whether you'll say that it was too early returning from Yuri Kazdorp. I mean, I'm not going to lie, if I'm Yuri Kazdorp, I'm still asking the question, why am I even fighting for this anyway? Who cares? We're outscoring them. We're outscoring the team we need to outscore. We're battling with BS competition who aren't our target in all this. I don't know, it seems a little bit unnecessary to me.
Well, it is 3 points. That's the difference up here. It is 3 points, and you know, penalties are generally less than that.
Oh, I see.
Not to say you're just going to batter someone out the way, because that would be a lot of penalty points. But you get what I mean.
My goodness.
Out of Lesmo 2, they go into Ascari. It looks like these two are going to have to resolve it on the circuit.
I'm starting to get the feeling that you were a bit of a dirty driver back in the day.
Absolutely
not. Driving. It's been a bit interesting. Oh, yeah, as we head through the Ascari chicane, I get the feeling that you would take someone out.
And
not for dinner.
Needs must. Anyway, Max Benneker into the final corners. He's actually slowed down quite a lot on this final lap. He's not running out of fuel or anything. He's just showboating a little bit, really, and enjoying himself because it's another top two finish, but more importantly, a race victory at Monza for Maus and possibly a ticket to the team's championship final tomorrow. Max Benneker doing his job almost perfectly as the run to the line for third brings Yuri Kazdorp on the podium as well. Maus in prime position to get into the final.
Yeah, indeed, and again, it's yet another victory for Max Benneker. I mean, look, he's been fantastic. It's his 23rd